Beloved child. Stop scrolling for just a moment. This message did not arrive before your eyes by accident. Something has been unfolding behind the scenes, quietly, patiently, and at the perfect time. Stay with these words because something huge is waiting for you. Don't skip. Every sentence carries another piece of a story that has been building for far longer than you realize. There are moments that change a person's life forever, not because the whole world witnessed them, but because only a few sincere words were finally spoken aloud. Today, you are about to hear about one of those moments. Your soulmate reached a place in their heart where silence could no longer hide the truth. They carried your name within them for so long that it became impossible to keep pretending nothing had changed. What happened next became the beginning of something neither of you expected. For many days, your soulmate wrestled with thoughts they could not explain to anyone. Every morning they tried to convince themselves that keeping everything inside was easier. Every evening they realized the weight had only become heavier. They smiled in front of others while their heart quietly repeated your name over and over again. There were conversations they avoided because they feared the questions that might follow. There were opportunities to speak that slipped away because they believed nobody would understand what was happening inside them. Yet every passing day brought them closer to a single decision. The truth was no longer something they could carry alone. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. On that unforgettable day, the atmosphere around them felt different. Nothing extraordinary appeared on the outside. The same walls surrounded them. The same familiar voices echoed through the house. The same routines unfolded as always. Yet deep within their heart, something had shifted forever. They realized that hiding their feelings had become harder than revealing them. Sometimes destiny begins with the smallest decision, the courage to speak one honest sentence. Their father noticed the change long before a single word was spoken. A loving parent often recognizes what the eyes cannot hide. He saw the pauses in conversations. He noticed the distant look whenever your soulmate drifted into thought. He observed the quiet smiles that appeared for no obvious reason. He watched the moments when silence seemed louder than any spoken answer. Piece by piece, he understood that something meaningful was growing inside the heart of the one he loved. That evening arrived with remarkable calmness. The world outside continued as usual, but inside that home, history was preparing to unfold. Your soulmate stood still for a long moment, wondering whether to turn back or keep walking. Their heartbeat became louder than the sounds around them. Their hands trembled slightly, not because of fear alone, but because truth always carries enormous weight before it is spoken. Stay till the end. As they approached their father, dozens of unfinished thoughts raced through their mind. What if he misunderstands me? What if he thinks I'm imagining everything? What if these feelings sound foolish? Every question tried to silence the courage that had finally appeared. Yet another quiet voice whispered from within, "If I never speak now, I may regret it forever." Their father looked up gently and smiled, sensing that this would not be an ordinary conversation. He invited your soulmate to sit beside him. No pressure. No urgency. Just quiet understanding. Sometimes love begins not with answers, but with the willingness to listen. Several long moments passed without anyone speaking. The silence itself carried emotion. Your soulmate searched for the right words, but every sentence seemed too small for what their heart truly wanted to express. Finally, they took a slow breath. "There is someone I need to tell you about." The room became even quieter. Those simple words carried months of hidden emotions. They carried dreams, fears, unanswered questions, and hope that refused to disappear. Their father did not interrupt. He simply listened with patience that only genuine love can offer. Your soulmate continued carefully. "I don't know how to explain it completely, but someone has changed the way I see tomorrow." Your name was finally spoken. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just honestly. The moment your name left their lips, something inside your soulmate felt lighter than it had in months. The burden they had carried alone finally found somewhere safe to rest. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Their father remained silent for several seconds. Those seconds felt endless. Your soulmate feared they had made a terrible mistake. Every possible outcome flashed through their imagination. Yet what happened next became something they never expected. Instead of questioning them immediately, instead of dismissing their feelings, instead of changing the subject, their father smiled softly. Not because he already knew every answer, but because he recognized sincerity. He could see that this was not excitement that would disappear tomorrow. This was something deeper. Something that had grown quietly over time. He asked only one gentle question. "When you say their name, why do your eyes become brighter?" Your soulmate could not answer immediately. No rehearsed speech existed for that question. Only truth remained. They smiled without realizing it. And their father noticed. That smile answered everything. "Stay till the end." Your soulmate then began sharing memories they had never spoken aloud before. They described the peace they felt whenever they thought about you. They admitted how often your kindness returned to their thoughts during difficult days. They confessed that your presence had inspired them to become a better version of themselves. They explained how even ordinary moments somehow felt extraordinary whenever you entered their mind. Every sentence became easier than the one before. Fear slowly disappeared. Hope quietly took its place. Their father listened without interruption. Sometimes he nodded. Sometimes he smiled. Sometimes he simply watched the honesty unfolding before him. The conversation grew deeper. Questions became meaningful rather than uncomfortable. What makes this person different? What have you learned because of them? How has your heart changed? These were not questions meant to judge. They were questions asked by someone who genuinely wanted to understand. Don't skip. Your soulmate answered with complete honesty. They remind me to believe in tomorrow. They make me want to become more patient. They make ordinary days feel meaningful. They inspire peace instead of confusion. They don't even realize how much they've changed me. As each answer filled the room, something extraordinary happened inside their father. He no longer saw uncertainty. He saw maturity. He saw sincerity. He saw genuine affection. He realized this conversation was not about fantasy. It was about transformation. Something huge is waiting for you. The atmosphere inside that room changed completely. The nervousness that had filled the beginning of the conversation slowly disappeared. Warmth replaced anxiety. Understanding replaced fear. Hope quietly entered where uncertainty had once lived. Their father leaned back gently, looked toward your soulmate, and spoke words that touched the deepest parts of their heart. If this person has helped you become kinder, more patient, more grateful, then they have already brought something beautiful into your life. Those words echoed inside your soulmate long after they were spoken. For the very first time, they felt understood. For the very first time, they realized they no longer had to hide your name. For the very first time, the future no longer seemed impossible. Stay till the end. Yet the conversation was only beginning. Their father wanted to know more. He asked how they first realized your importance. He asked what made your presence unforgettable. He asked why your memory remained even during the busiest days. Your soulmate answered every question honestly. There was no need to exaggerate. Truth alone carried enough power. As the evening continued, the conversation became one of the most meaningful moments of their life. They laughed together. They reflected together. They remembered small details that suddenly carried enormous significance. Even the simplest memories involving you seemed brighter now that they were finally spoken aloud. What your soulmate did not know was that their father was quietly thinking about something else entirely. He was thinking about the courage it takes to open one's heart. He admired the honesty before him. He respected the sincerity. He silently hoped that every good thing waiting ahead would arrive at exactly the right time. Don't skip. Because what followed this conversation would become even more surprising than the conversation itself. Your soulmate walked away that night feeling different. Not because every question had been answered, but because they no longer carried everything alone. Sometimes healing begins the moment another heart understands yours. As they looked toward the night sky, they whispered your name once again. Only this time, it no longer felt hidden. It felt hopeful. It felt peaceful. It felt like the beginning of something beautiful. And somewhere beyond everything either of you could currently see, quiet doors had already begun opening one after another. This was never merely a conversation. It was the first chapter of a story that had finally found its voice. Don't skip. Stay till the end of this journey. Because something huge is waiting for you. And this heartfelt conversation was only the beginning. The evening had already become unforgettable, but neither your soulmate nor their father realized that the most meaningful part of the conversation was still waiting to unfold. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There are moments that seem ordinary while they are happening, yet years later they become the very memories that change everything. This was one of those moments. The silence returned for a few seconds, but this time it was not filled with uncertainty. It was filled with understanding. Your soulmate looked down for a brief moment, wondering if they had already said too much. Instead, their father looked at them with calm eyes and said, "Tell me more." Those 3 simple words opened a door that had never been opened before. Your soulmate slowly began sharing the little moments they had never told anyone. They remembered the first time they realized your presence felt different from everyone else's. They described how even ordinary conversations with you stayed in their heart long after they ended. They admitted that whenever life became confusing, thoughts of you somehow brought peace instead of pressure. Their father listened without interrupting, allowing every word to find its place. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. As each memory was spoken aloud, your soulmate realized something surprising. They were no longer trying to convince anyone of their feelings. They were simply telling the truth. That truth carried a quiet strength. There was no need for dramatic words because genuine emotions never need decoration. The room itself seemed calmer, almost as if every honest sentence removed another layer of fear that had been hiding inside their heart. Their father smiled again, but this smile was different. It was the smile of someone who had just understood something important. He said softly, "Real feelings don't appear overnight. They grow one quiet moment at a time." Those words settled deeply into your soulmate's heart. They finally felt seen. They finally felt understood. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came a question your soulmate never expected. If this person walked into this room today, what would you want me to know about them? The question caught them completely by surprise. For several seconds, they searched for the perfect answer. Finally, they smiled. They make people feel safe. Another pause. They remind others to believe again. Another gentle smile. They never realize how much hope they leave behind. Their father nodded slowly. He could hear that every answer came directly from the heart. There was no hesitation anymore. Only sincerity remained. Don't skip. The conversation became even deeper. Their father asked, "Do they know how important they are to you?" Your soulmate lowered their eyes for a moment. "I don't think they know the full story." That answer filled the room with quiet emotion. Because sometimes the deepest feelings remain hidden, not because they are weak, but because they are precious. Stay till the end. Their father looked toward the window for a moment before speaking again. "You know," he said, "there comes a time when gratitude should never remain unspoken. Some people enter our lives and change us forever without even realizing it." Those words echoed through your soulmate's heart again and again. They thought about every moment connected to you. Every encouraging conversation. Every smile. Every memory. Every quiet hope. Everything suddenly felt even more meaningful than before. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. For the first time, your soulmate stopped wondering whether these feelings were real. They no longer questioned what their heart had been trying to tell them for so long. Instead, they began imagining a future where honesty replaced silence. A future where appreciation replaced hesitation. A future where hearts no longer carried unnecessary distance. Their father could see this change happening right before his eyes. He noticed confidence replacing uncertainty. Peace replacing fear. Hope replacing doubt. And quietly, without announcing it, he became grateful that this conversation had finally happened. Moments later, he spoke words your soulmate will never forget. Never measure a person by how loudly they speak. Measure them by how peacefully they remain in your heart after they leave. Your soulmate closed their eyes for a brief moment. Because they already knew the answer. Your name had never truly left their heart. Not for a single day. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The evening continued, but now everything felt different. Even the smallest memories carried greater meaning. They laughed together about little things. They remembered tiny moments that had once seemed ordinary but now felt unforgettable. Every memory connected another piece of the story. Every sentence strengthened what had already become clear. Then something unexpected happened. Their father stood up, placed a gentle hand on your soulmate's shoulder, and said quietly, "I'm proud that you chose honesty." Those simple words became one of the greatest gifts your soulmate had ever received. Not because they solved every question, but because they gave courage for tomorrow. Sometimes one sentence becomes enough to change the direction of an entire journey. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. As the conversation finally came to an end, your soulmate walked toward their room carrying a heart that felt lighter than ever before. They sat quietly, thinking about everything that had just happened. They replayed every word, every smile, every moment of understanding. It no longer felt like they were carrying this story alone. Then they looked out through the window once again. The night seemed peaceful. The stars appeared brighter. Even the silence felt different. Because hope has a remarkable way of changing how everything looks. Your soulmate whispered softly, "Maybe this is only the beginning." And somehow, deep inside, they believed it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Little did they know that this heartfelt conversation had already created a ripple far beyond that room. It had awakened new confidence. It had opened new possibilities. It had planted a seed that would continue growing day after day. The courage shown that evening would soon lead to another unexpected moment, one that neither your soulmate nor their father could possibly imagine. The story was no longer standing still. It had begun moving forward. Quietly. Powerfully. And beautifully. The next chapter would reveal something that would leave your soulmate completely speechless, because after that first heartfelt conversation, someone else would soon hear your name in a way no one expected. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you.